everybody. Welcome back. Wednesday night edition of Inside the Headset. We're live and on the air. Our sponsor tonight is John Jones. John Jones Real Estate. Nobody sells homes like John. Going to roll down to Alabama to Albertville. We're going to talk to the head coach of the Albertville Aggies, head coach Bert Browne. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm great. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Well, you finished up there 0-10, but it was your first year. But as we visited last year all along, you kept saying, we're getting there. It's just we're trying to fly the airplane, grow the team, and re-renovate the back coach area. And you just had a lot of stuff going on in getting the Bert Browne template put into place.
Well, yeah, we were just so young. I mean, 7A football, starting a 8th grader at quarterback, 4 sophomore offensive linemen. It's one of those deals, man, where we were just so young. We had 8 seniors, we had 9 juniors, and unfortunately, one of them got killed in a car wreck Labor Day, and that was awful tough for our kids and our coaching staff, myself, and never been through anything like that. But our kids were resilient, and but we did play a lot of young kids, so they've been doing a great job in the weight room this off season. And I mean, it's amazing, how many kids have said, "Yeah, I gained 15 pounds since the season." Well, the reason being because they've been all freshmen and sophomores, and you put on a lot of weight in those years, and so I'm very excited about this coming year.
Yeah, and getting things set up, and just like you said, you spent a lot of time after you took the head coaching job, and I'm not being mean to anybody, but it's unwinding what somebody else is put into place, and now retraining and putting your stuff into place. But then there's always with the younger the younger crowd, and you and I were there, and our parents always told you because I told you so. But you have to explain to this generation why you're doing it and what the result will be. You have to show that, you have to kind of show and reveal the plan so they buy in, don't you? Right,
and it's one of those things that I was talking to somebody today about, for me, when you have a season like this, and I've never gone just defeated, but when you have a season like this, every week, keeping the kids engaged, working hard, and to be honest with you, down the stretch, we played some pretty dang good teams.
Oh, yes.
And keeping the kids focused and working hard at practice. And football is different from all the other sports. I mean, when you're outmatched, you're outmatched. Basketball, you can get hot one night and beat people that are better than you. But usually in football, if you're better, bigger, and stronger, you're going to win. And so keeping our kids engaged and in working hard every week and doing the things that they needed to do every week, like I said, that pregame pep talk, that was a tough thing to think about and things to talk to them about at practice about, hey, you got to keep working. And I always try to equate it back to life and just kind of say, we're going through a tough time right now, but it's gonna pay off throughout your life. And I really was proud of our seniors, how hard they kept working to show our young guys, how to persevere.
If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, Coach. I mean, if it was easy, and we're guilty of it, but a lot of people I'm sure you've corrected people many a times, but you'll watch a football game with a friend and somebody will say something, you'll say you don't have any idea what you're talking about. Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Well, go to a football game and sit in the stands and listen to people. And I've done that many times as a college coach. Or you go to a playoff game and you go sit in the stands and people don't know you're a coach, and you listen to people around you and you're like, well, why don't you go down there and get on that grease board and draw that play up for that coach? So it's a one of the things about building a program is instilling in your kids that, hey, this plan is right. We just keep at it. It's going to work. And I've been there before. Not Stewart's Creek, because Stewart's Creek was in a good spot, but I've been places before where they have just been so bad that you had to instill that in the kids, and so that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and you, like you said, you've been here before. You know exactly, and you got to be patient, and it'll be okay. But keeping the delivery of what you're saying to them and the confidence in your voice and little bitty things are gaining points, because you can show them video of the first game and video of the week 9, week 10. And you can point out immediately, look at how you're getting to the ball quicker. You wasn't doing that week 1. You started to figure out, I got to get over here, I got to be over there, or when it's my turn to be on special teams, I got to be ready, or whatever we're doing. And two, they start to understand the game, that holding on to the ball is a key part of the game, whether you're scoring or not. Keeping it out of their hands. Now, eventually, you do have to put some points on the board, but time of possession and where you are, and doing things like Jimmy Maynard being able to slow the game down to where it's just at a crawl and you're taking them on a 7-minute drive. You got to be able to adjust and do that, and they haven't learned all those things, and they don't understand them. They only see what's on TV, and then they say, I want to go do that. But you have to do all these other things before that becomes natural. Just natural. You do it automatically.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we'll sit in there in staff meetings and say, do our kids even watch football? Because there's so many things for kids to do today. And sometimes I'll tell them, I'll say, go home and Saturday watch college football. Listen to what's being said, learn, but I'm just, one of the things about that excites me about us is we were so young, and I've just got to think that all the time, playing time that freshmen and sophomores and an 8th grade quarterback got, I think I told the story, I told him, he's a tough little player. He's got a lot of confidence, my little 8th grader. And, I told him during the year, I said, now listen, this is before the season started. I said, you're playing 7-8 football. This isn't middle school. You're not going to outrun anybody out here. And, he's a good little athlete. And I told him, I said, throw the football away. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. And so we're playing Huntsville, and, he scrambles out of the pocket, and I'm yelling, throw it away, and one of their D linemen gets him, and he goes, and so he lays there, he's down. So I'm like, man, and ended up he had strained his non-throwing shoulder. And we thought at the time he broke his collarbone, so I was just sick. And I went over there, and he was in the tent, and I go, CJ, what have I told you about? You can't outrun people out here. You're an 8th grader. He goes, yeah, Coach, but he was number 56, and he was fat. And so he thought he could outrun him, but that's an 8th grader, and that's what I told him. I said, no, you can't outrun anybody. You're in the 8th grade. That kid's a senior.
Yeah.
And he really got better as the year went on, and he is going to be a good one. I'm excited about him.
When you start to look at the numbers and where you were, and you come in, it was about this time last year they made the announcement Bert Browne's now the head coach of the Albertville Aggies, and you get your family, you start moving down there, you start figuring out where everything is and what you got to work with, and glad handshaking and going to lunch with everybody in town. That's all over. It's now, you've
Yeah.
got that out of the way. But when we talk about numbers, and you needed more kids, because when you sit there and you sit back, you were like, Stark, there's a lot of kids walking the hall and they're not playing football. Have you been able to
Right.
get a couple of those guys to think about
Well,
putting on the Aggie uniform and representing their school?
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to order 46 new helmets.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's going to be expensive, but it's a good thing to have to do. And I told our coaches, and I said we have got to recruit our hallways,
Mm-hmm.
and our middle school is right next to us, so I go over there at lunch all the time and talk to the middle schoolers. I've got 45. We had a letter of intent to play for the Albertville Aggies from our 8th graders, and so I went over the other day. We had a little signing day for them. Gave them a T-shirt, and I had 45 8th graders sign up. So I'm excited about that. I think I got a total of 75, 10 through 12. With that being with 9, maybe probably 10 or 11 seniors, because we got some kids that didn't play last year that are coming out. But so that's with probably 11 seniors. I have 73 players, 10 through 12, and I'm going to have 45 or 50 freshmen. So I'm excited about that, and having to order more helmets is a good problem, even though they're about $395 but a piece. But I'm excited about this group, and that's how football's a numbers game. You got 2 guys in basketball, you can win state championship. I've seen it done. Baseball, you got a couple real good pitchers, you can win a state championship. So football, you can have a great quarterback and great tailback, and you can get wore out every game.
Yeah.
And I've always said it's ultimate team sport. I mean, no man is, you do have to have that today's game. You better have a quarterback if you're going to win the big one, but you got to have them guys blocking for them and people catching it and all that kind of stuff. So, but it is a numbers game, and that's what I've been preaching to my coaching staff. We've got to have numbers, and that's what I've been telling those kids. We want a platoon. I want a platoon on my 9th grade, and I've been talking to the 8th graders and 7th graders, and we want a lot of you all to be able to play. And so we've got some size in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, so I'm excited about that too.
When you look at what you got to do between now and then, and fundraisers and everything else, and it sounds like to me the community's fully behind you, and you've got a lot of momentum going. What's the biggest thing, Coach, that you need to get done and be ready to roll when we hit the 3rd week in August? And of course, the first thing you've done is you're going to be able to play a jamboree or a scrimmage. But that's going to be huge. And you said you've already switched that piece, so you're going to go through the spring without any, just you all alone. So in the spring, and then in the fall, as you get through your 2-a-days, you'll have that one jamboree game to prepare you for the 10 you're going to take. What's got to happen, Coach?
Well, I think we've got to continue to do what we're doing in our off-season program in the weight room and gaining strength. And anytime you gain strength as a teenage boy, you gain. There's a lot gained there. You feel confident. You have so much more confident when you can look in the mirror and see muscles and see things happening because of that weight room. And our kids are really liking that because they're seeing gains, a lot of gains in the weight room. Our strength coach was the head strength coach at Jacksonville State for 13 years, and then when Rich Rod came in, he fired everybody there, and so he's our strength coach, and we love it. Gavin Hofford. You get a Division I strength coach that knows what he's doing, and so we have to keep having gains in the weight room because we are so young. We're still going to be young, but the young kids that got to play a lot, they've got to be better this time when we start our season. We've got to have those guys have got. And that's one way I can sleep right now is I've just got to believe that so many of our freshmen and sophomores played 7A football in the state of Alabama against a bunch of juniors and seniors. We've got to be better just through that.
Yeah, absolutely, and you'll see it, and you'll see that progression, but you won't see it. You won't see the. It's going to be like planting a potato. You're just not going to see until you get that chance to dig it up and then see what you got, and that time will come in August. But all the time you spend in the film room and them picking up on CC right here, when that guy comes up, he's rushing. He's a blitz. He's coming after you. You know, you got to tell somebody to pick him up. You know, you can't. You know, because you're going to cut down on the amount of time you got to throw the ball. So quarterback's going to get smarter. Team's going to get smarter. You've got more kids. You got a lot of momentum. Coach, it's great to talk to you. Sounds like you got a lot of things going. Appreciate you being on Inside the Headset. Anything you want to say about our sponsor, John Jones of John Jones Real Estate?
John Jones, I talked with Jughead yesterday. Of course, you know, he's my best friend, and I know Jughead loves to help out athletics and high school athletics and things like that. And you know, Stork, I've said this many times, what you do for high school athletics is great. Recognition that kids get from it, and you know, is a big time deal. And you know, I started a radio show down here just to get kids. You know, I'd have 3 or 4 kids every week on the radio show because I want those. It's important that kids get exposed to that kind of thing. And so stuff like you're doing is great, and keep up the good work, buddy, and I appreciate you.
Well, you know, and it's always great to have you on. I mean, you know, we've got 13 coaches in the fraternity of Inside the Headset, and every one of them are coaching football, but they all do it different. They've all got a different method, you know, and all of you know each other. You know, everybody's got everybody's cell phone number, and you're leaning on each other and say, what will you do about this? You know, Kevin, I guess you heard him earlier. He's wanting me to get Coach Rankin. Coach Rankin's interviewing a new offensive coordinator and trying to get me to get Coach Rankin to tell us who it is. And Coach Rankin says it's not final yet, so we can't talk about that just yet. But I think Kevin knows who it is, and you know what Kevin was saying. He was saying, I approve of what you're. You know, he's letting him know. He's sending a message. I approve of the offensive coordinator you're looking at. So. A lot of, and you've coached, and you know a lot about just maybe the fans don't know, but you know a lot about this region. Besides coaching Stewart's Creek, you were at Coffee County, so you know how tough it is to put boys on a bus and go through Rutherford County.
Well, you dang right it is, and you know, we did it at Coffee County, and it was a great year up until I guess this year. It was the best year they've ever had in '97, and. First playoff appearance ever, but that is a tough place to play. I was you know, we beat Oakland that year. Probably played Riverdale as good as anybody played them. I know Gary set out about nine starters against Gallatin the last game of the season. I think they got beat that year and then went on. You know, Gary was smart. Gary was like, all right, I'm gonna get these guys healthy for my state championship run. And you know, won a state championship, went 14-1, and but that is a tough region now. That area of football is, in my opinion, probably the best in the state. You know, that Murfreesboro area.
Boy, when he was at Riverdale, you just didn't want no part of him, did you, Coach? I mean, people have no idea, man. When he bring those goons out, man, and he had he had a sideline.
He had some players now, and I tell you what. The one thing that kept us close in our game versus them is we were so physical, and we just ran the ball every play. I mean, you know, they had so many athletes. Anybody that tried to do that stuff to out-athlete them wasn't going to do that.
Right.
But we were, you know, we had Chris Elam, who, in my opinion, was the best football player in the state, the best player I've ever coached, and I've coached a few NFL guys, and you know, we just got downhill, 235-pound running back. It's pretty tough.
Yeah. Coach, have a good one, and we'll talk soon.
You too, buddy.
See you, bye.
Thank you, buddy.
See you, bye.